Hello and welcome to day 3 of Night in the Woods, and day 3 of this rambling commentary, which now we open up to May's computer box, which is sort of important. It pulls up a big thing here, and we see that it is, in fact, loaded with malware. Yeah, I don't think I would want anyone else to see all of the, porn ads, that were destroying my computer either, but, I do like the fact that, the people who made this game said that May has a healthy, if, solo sex life. She's got interests, she's got desires, and she has a type. You got to find out, her type is not, cute boys. I think she's got since dating Cole, she has this aversion to what most people would say traditionally attractive. And, when you have her talk about other stuff like her ideal boyfriend and stuff like that, it's like, yeah, I'd like to, someone I would be able to wrestle with or, get very physical with. So she's got a type, which is kind of nice. And she's not in, she's not ridiculed for that or anything like that, which is also very nice and exceptionally progressive for the area. But, yeah, it's just kind of nice to see a game that looks at female sexuality and does not, try to skirt away from it like, it's some great unknown thing. And yes, Candy and May Borowski, who are big into mysteries, and this is a very big mystery here indeed. And I do like how the clock in the kitchen seems to reflect that May is almost always up at like 4. There are a lot of photographs of cats, which I'm guessing are, other people in the Borowski family. And yes, Mr. Penderson, who is a terrible person and fun as all heck, who, when voiced, is always fun to voice because he is so angry and terrible to May. And yeah, no, I could see how eggs would take paint off, but that isn't going to destroy anything. That's just paint. Especially on vinyl siding. I mean, vinyl isn't porous enough to keep paint on, so I'm pretty sure what really took off the paint was probably his method of cleaning it off. And yes, since moving to the New England area, oh my god, do I notice that when it hits fall, the construction is absolutely insane. Yep, nothing going on the roofs just yet. But they will. They will. And yeah, Selmers is definitely a cool character who seems to kind of have, her own hopes and dreams. She seems to be this, like, rough, gruff, angry person, but on the outside, but, as you get to know her, she's this person who's shyly a poet, and she kind of wants to express herself creatively, but, kind of see her always in this, huge bulky hoodie and stuff like that. I think my pause there was just the fact that I was kicking acorns around and, could hear acorns tapping all over the place. Yeah, it's kind of nice how much stuff you can interact in this game and not do anything. And yeah, this is just me running through the main strip, wondering if anything's going on, which there isn't. Actually, a lot of this game, if you don't get it on the first day, you often have the opportunity to try again the next day and probably hear the same kind of conversation. But, it obviously only happens once. And yes, Fisherman Jones, who does not want anyone to hear his poetry. And someone new to the Weird Autumn update is Miss Rosa, who gets to tell May all about her grandfather. And this is really cool because, you knew that May and her grandfather were close, but you never really heard much about her grandfather. And it turns out he was very much a revolutionary. I mean, if this game took place in what they keep calling the old country, yeah, you could tell he was, he'd be part of the revolution, front lines, bricks in hand. Speaking of, they never explicitly say where May's family is from. They would just say the old country or back east or whatever that. So, based off of her name, Borowski, I was thinking, well, it's definitely Eastern European at least. Maybe Polish, maybe, Czech, or, that sort of area, until I noticed, oh wait, I'm overthinking this. May isn't quite a black cat, she's a very dark blue cat. And there are blue cats. They are called Russian blues. And then I realized, oh, yeah, that makes sense. May Borowski is a Russian blue cat with thus Russian heritage, which is pretty cool. Again, this is just me making an opinion based off of a thought. And Greg's big moment. Greg with cups on his ears. Yeah, day 3 here actually puts most people's sort of memeness to the test. Eels, honey, and cups on my ears. Actually, I think Eels, honey was the previous day, but I'm doing a bunch of these commentaries in one sitting, so yeah, I'm not totally thinking too straightly. Megazillion Power Prime, which apparently, as of this recording, the Mega Millions have hit up to $1 billion, which, yeah, that would be a fair chunk of change. Just going to ramble off topic for the moment, but I feel if I was a rich man, I would love to be one of those people who are like a major patron of the arts and, keeps handing artists, a fair amount of cash to be like, yes, go do your stuff. I mean, obviously, save enough to, live comfortably and all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, I don't think I would, I'd probably be a very poor investor, let's say. I'd invest in culture rather than in industry. But yeah, here we get to hear that May saying cute guys are overrated. Um, some people say that that's because Cole broke her heart. Personally, I think it's probably because that's not where her tastes lie. And yes, we get to the first puzzle of the game where there is no button to Greg and Angus's place. So you have to figure out how to get in. Which, since this is the Greg run, we get to get a whole lot of electrocuted May life and things. Yeah, if you do a Greg run, May spends a fair amount of time with electricity, coursing through her small, frail little body. That's probably not good. I mean, as we find out later, probably the reason why May is, so small is that she was probably a premature baby, and her mother had a lot of miscarriages, so she was, probably only barely viable, which is sad, terribly sad. Because, that's not something you want people to go through, obviously. Yeah, all of Greg and Angus's crazy neighbors, which most people would say Greg is the craziest one out of here, which I could see that, because as the first guy mentions, the little one is the one who kicked off the button, which, why would you do that? But, okay. Yeah, it's fiddly indeed. So, I guess that means for the rest of the run, May keeps a screwdriver in her pocket? I guess that makes sense. It's not a, strictly strange object. And usually I just run up and say hi to Angus, but I noticed, the cutscene isn't running. You can just wander around the apartment, which is kind of cool. You get to explore the apartment a little bit more later. Yeah, no, when you're in your house, you should be pantsless if you feel like it. And yes, if you're asking some help for people who can help fix your computer, be honest with them. Or as much as you can be. And yeah, no, I can totally agree with May that you don't want to be told that your, masturbatory habits are healthy, but, it's nice to know that people think so, just maybe not out loud. Yeah, Angus is definitely a literalist, which is kind of cool, but I could totally see being a bit annoying at times, especially when you're trying to, make allegory. I mean, I guess they're trying to engage at the same time. And yeah, I think this is like the first point where we find out that May's dad has a drinking, or well, not has, but had a drinking problem, which, kind of is a heavy note. But we do still get dad jokes. Um, and yeah, I noticed he keeps saying Mayor Kitten even if you don't tell Mr. Penderson you were elected mayor, which I think is a little sad. That should be like one of those things that pops up just because you said the right thing, but oh well. And here we get, yep, a fixed computer box. Yay. And yeah, I noticed also recently that Angus does is interested if you play Demon Tower, so I'm definitely going to play a bit of Demon Tower at some point so that, you know, Angus will not be sad with me. I'm also going to try to do like at least 2 runs of Demon Tower because like the rest of the game you can have this either be, you know, a successful or a well, not a successful. There's 2 different endings to the Demon Tower game, so that should be fun. And I think Demon Tower, when you play it, at the moment Finji is making another game called Tunic, which has a lot of the same kind of elements insofar as it's a game where you know, melee fighting with dodging mechanics. And yes, Sharkle. You should always click on Sharkle at least once per playthrough. But anyway, this is going to be the end of yet another video. So, good night for episode 3.